Ladies and gentlemen, sexual discipline and desire is at a low in our society today, and we need to talk about it. We need to talk about how sex is indeed precious and it is sacred because it brings forward life. Any act that brings forward life of a human being that sees, that hears, that feels, this has to be something that is held in high reverence. Sex is given by God. It is meant to be good. It is meant to be fulfilling. It is meant to be beautiful. But it is meant to be beautiful under the promises of His love, under the safety and security of His laws, of His truths and His promises, those things that bind us to His goodness. When we are rooted in God, we become one with our woman, as Genesis 2:24 says, and the two shall become one flesh. Man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh, which is why marriage is so important. Marriage is precious. Marriage is the fulfillment of man and woman's physical love promised to God in the spirit, so that they would always be there for each other as God is always there for us. And if you do not have that commitment within you, you should not be having sex. If you cannot be true to someone, if you cannot love them, if you cannot truly be there for them and comfort them in a time of need, you should not be having sex. Sex is sacred. It is from emotionally, spiritually mature individuals. And if you have not reached that pinnacle of life yet, you should refrain. It does not matter your financial state. It does not matter where you are from. This comes from inside. This comes from introspection. This comes from looking at yourself and saying, what is it that is really true in life? Being loose sexually does not equate to a good life. As a man, it detaches you from the reality of what your life is supposed to be. It makes you think that it is all fulfillment and pleasure, and you are now sinking in sand of comfort and desire rather than flourishing in the air of purpose and function. You are meant to be purposed and functional, and having sex with different types of women, knocking them off the list, championing yourself as a Casanova. I know that we celebrate men who get a lot of women, but the idea is more that you're celebrated because you are wanted by many women, but don't give yourself to only but one woman. And for my sisters, sexual liberation is at an all-time high. But I would tell you, if you want a man who loves you, who will provide for you, who will protect you, who will go to the ends of the earth for you, you must balance yourself sexually as well. You cannot be so free to think that just because there's a loving and merciful God, that any man will be willing to take you in and to say that everything is okay. I wish to endure with you and to take you as you are, which is what we're supposed to do. But we're supposed to take each other as we are, with the intention that that person has done the very best within themselves to bring forward the best version. And just as men need to control themselves, ladies, you need to control yourselves. I'm not the all authority on everything, but I am a voice of reason, and I practice what I preach. I do not indulge in loose sexual behavior because I know it destroys the heart. I know it tears at the soul. Proverbs 6:32 says, man who committeth adultery lacketh heart, for he who committeth adultery destroyeth his own soul. And unfortunately, I have put myself in that position. I have wrestled with lust, and I have lost to it many times, more times than I would like to admit. And God has been incredibly merciful, and it is why I feel the need to share this message about how precious it is for man to carry himself in a way that does not allow his sexual discipline to overrun him. We are meant to be leaders. We are meant to be kings within this realm because we serve a mighty king. He is the King of Kings. And he has given us this majesty to walk about this earth, to command and to pray over people and to live strongly for those who are weaker than us, who do not have as much as us, and we are throwing it away in some regards. We are disregarding the responsibility of the majesty that the Father God's Son has placed within our hearts, and giving in to sexual desire is part of that. Wanting to live in the flesh and wanting to live by the ways of comfort and desire is killing us as men, and we need to turn back. And the way to turn back is to start first with the lust that we feel, because indeed it is good that man has a woman. It is good that man is not alone, for it is not good for man to be alone. However, it is not said with the intention that man needs a woman so that he can have sex. Oh, I got to get these rocks off, or I got to get that off. No, you don't. That's a lie that society has implanted into our minds and instilled into our being as men. That is not what God has called us to do. That is not how he has called us to live. And yet we are indulging in that behavior. I am here to ring the bell. I am here to turn us back. I am here to say we need to stop the madness. We need to stop the lusting over our women. We need to protect them. We need to help be stronger, better versions of themselves so that our brethren who are looking for mates will find good women. If men stop pursuing women in a certain way and stop indulging in the things that they would so care for them too, women would have to change the way that they did things. You don't see women doing certain things. I don't even need to name them, but there's crazy things that people could do to get attention and they simply don't do it. It's done behind closed doors. It's not done out in public because it's quite disgusting and it's looked upon with great horror. And so we need to have more of that reverence within our own selves. Men and women need to bind themselves from their sexual desires and detach from them in the sense that they are not overrun by them, that we are not led by feelings. I feel. It's one of the most dangerous things a human being can utter, or at least not utter. One of the most dangerous things that they can use to justify a decision that they're going to make. We have to be better, gentlemen. We have to rise above what this is within our hearts. And I feel it too. It comes through in different ways for me, but my channels sometimes are loaded with messages that I don't want them to be. You must detach, you must fight through it. I wish you all well on your journey. Sexual discipline is king for a man. It will allow him to unlock his very best self. I can promise you this. I've spent large portions of my time having retained seed, and it does wonders for you. There is a certain point where you will cap out and you're not going to see those same benefits if you have a relapse. That is because you have to go to the next level of detachment. You've detached from your sexual desire, and now you need to keep that detachment up, but you need to detach further from desires in the world, from statuses that you wish to live out, ideas, fantasies, thoughts, plans, visions. You have to be able to be separate from it in the sense that you're not harmed by the thought of it not coming to be. Love you all. God bless.